My name's Evan Leisure. I'm from Lakewood, Ohio, and I'm an artist. I went to Kent State for visual communication design, which is basically art. And yeah, I graduated in 2018, so about 8 years ago.
Wow.
More or less. I worked as a freelance designer for a few years and then got into doing mural work. And now I own a small little breakfast place. So when I first got out of school, I worked for a company called Ohio Boy, which is also the social department. And that's like a one-man design studio in Akron. And so I worked under him for 3 or 4 years during and after school. And he was the first kind of self-employed visual designer that I saw. So watching him over that journey, eventually I went out and kind of did my own thing with that. And so I started off doing t-shirts in 2018. We would do kind of like nature shirts and outdoor themed apparel and stuff. And I would do trade shows, like little craft shows and holiday events and stuff. And that went on for the whole time. I did that right up until last year. And that was kind of what got me going. I think as like an up and coming entrepreneur, I don't know any other way I could have gotten to this stage without those events. So I started to meet more people and get more freelance projects. So people would hire me to design their logos and their, I would do anything that they needed. It didn't matter. But after a year or two of gathering freelance work, I started to really focus on like the cannabis industry. I do a lot of packaging for clients out west in Oregon mainly. And that was what kind of sent me on the trajectory of like a freelance designer. So then after that point, I just worked with brands for a few years doing packaging mainly. And that was great. It was a work from home kind of situation. A lot of my clients were out of state. And so it felt though that like as an entrepreneur, like you kind of hit a wall at a certain point. So it felt like I was kind of hitting a wall of like, how do I scale this? How do I grow? And so that's when we made the decision to like, let's get into food. We started out doing a food tent. So Josh and I, he's my friend over there, we would be in a small trailer that we pulled with a van and we would set up a tent, set up tables and start selling breakfast sandwiches. So that was we did that in 2019, was our first kind of season. And we just set up at farmers markets mainly. And then in 2020, the event industry that I talked about was completely flipped on its head. And so then we would set up at a liquor store, just selling bagels. And then after that, we ended up buying a trailer, did the trailer for 5 or 6 years, and then now moved into a space. We knew early on that like we need to get into a space. And for me, I wanted a way to combine the artwork side that like I'm passionate about, environmentalism and conservation, with a business that's viable, that you can scale and can have some consistency with, which anyone in entrepreneurship starting out, the biggest thing you're looking for is just consistency. So that's what we were going for, is the daily sales. Like I need to be able to have a business that has some sort of traction every single day. So that's where this kind of came in. And I live right down the road. Like I love the area. Yeah. Once I was in college and I had that direction and I had competition next to me and I had that kind of, that drive, I think I just took to it really well. Like I took it very seriously. And I went to a community college for 2 years called Tri-C, which is a nearby school.
Yeah.
And so when I was in Kent, I was able to just focus on like my core curriculum. So I just really was like passionate about art and making a career out of it. Huge. So in many ways. And during school, I wasn't really involved with it much at that time, but I knew that like, like this goal that I have can be supported by the university. It's not like a school or entrepreneurship. It can be a kind of a medley of the two. So, and then after school, it was big. Even like my first interview, not that I do a lot of interviews, but like my first interview was for a girl from LaunchNET, like came and interviewed me in my studio. So like that was like, it's a small thing, but like it was the world at that time. Like it just felt incredible. Even like this feels great. And then Zach, I mean, I've been working with him since early on in the process, and like he's caught some things, given me some advice in some points that like really I would have been going down the wrong path in terms of like, you just get in your head and you get so focused on the small tasks, and then someone outside of it says like, oh, maybe you need to like overthink or think that a little bit better. And sometimes he's the only person who had said that at the time. So like having just someone outside of your circle who's not afraid to tell you that like, hey, this is a bad idea, or you need to rethink this, That saved me years of time. But the big thing was the Burton D. Morgan Foundation grant. I got that I think 2 or 3 years. And it was a serviceable amount of money, but like when you're this young and this like in the business, anything helps so much. The biggest thing you can do if you want to support local artists is anytime an artist is hired, you give them shared rights. So someone hired me to draw a mural for a parking garage and they gave me shared rights. So then I could take that artwork and put it in my cafe because we share the rights to the artwork. So that is huge in the industry because all the products that I sell, all the stickers, all this junk, like all of that is from shared rights where I created something for someone else and then I can still use my creation to profit off in my own way. So that's been huge to get me to this point. Because a lot of artists just don't think to ask, and it's kind of an uncomfortable thing to ask for. Yeah. Because people feel a sense of ownership where they're like, hey, I paid you to create this. But that's a good way that both of us can then profit off it. Good question. So I feel like a lot of people just almost like disregard that side of it, when for me, that's the biggest part of this. Like if the whole restaurant were to close, I would still be giving away monarch seeds. Like I think, or milkweed seeds. Monarchs are being depleted because of the loss of a single plant. That single plant is the key to their survival. So it was such a simple concept, and I started a product for it. The product monarch seed milkweed, and that product I'd bring to my events, and people were like super into it. And I think seeing the excitement behind it, because a lot of people have that knowledge, but they don't. You never like act on it or anything. So seeing people like get really jazzed about like, oh yeah, milkweed for monarchs, that for me is what kind of got me some momentum for it. I wanted to use that kind of a brand for the conservation side. So Monarch Magic, which is these little envelopes, is like, it's a brand for conservation where someone says, oh, Monarch Magic, plant milkweed, save monarchs. Refrigerate for 3 to 4 weeks, plant in fall or winter. It's like this easy kind of step-by-step thing. And even if you go home and you never plant that thing of monarch seeds or milkweed seeds, and it just lives in your drawer the rest of your life, like it still was successful because you leave here and you know, oh, like the fact that 80% of monarch populations have declined since I was a kid is because of one plant, and that one plant is the key to their survival. So the education side of it is what's big, and I had to pick something as like a sharp focus for that. And so milkweed for me was just that like razor sharp, this is what I'm gonna focus on. It's so fulfilling. Like if you take milkweed home and you plant it and these things pop up, like, cause I was in your shoes or whoever gets these packs where I didn't really know much about it. I got some seeds, I went home, I put them under a light, they sprouted, I planted it, and then I saw like monarchs in my yard by the plant. And I was tripping out. Like that for me was like so fulfilling. When I was in Kent, there was a speaker who came, I don't even know his name. He did great work, but I don't remember who he was or anything. But he had this line, and I never would go see like public, whatever they're called, like keynote speakers. But Alex was going, I happened to go with them to it, and he had this quote that stayed with me forever because he was a successful designer. He worked for New York Times, all these big brands, and he was an older guy, and so you're like, man, this guy's it. And he said like his one piece of advice was keep making stuff, like never stop making the next thing. Even if you don't have a reason to be making it, you don't have a purpose, you're still trying to find your flow, or what do I want to do, what do I want to, like, just it doesn't matter. All those questions completely don't matter at all. Just do something every day. And that for me was everything. Like for 8 years, originally Pastimes was just an idea for me. So I'd create a shirt of a yak kayaking, and I spent like 3 weeks, 4 weeks on that thing, and like no market, no one's buying it, no one cares about it. But like for me, it was like the next thing. And then after making that, then I went to the next thing. And I never got to a point where I was burnt out or like, oh, I got nothing left to do. It's just keep making stuff. If you want to be an entrepreneur who sells jewelry, just make something every day. And in 4 or 5 years, you're gonna be good. Like you're gonna be so good. If you go to Pastimes or the Pastimes on Instagram or Pastimes Café. So Instagram's the best way to kind of stay updated when we do finally update it. Or you can go to my website, which is thepastimes.com. Pastimes is one word. They share a T. So Pastimes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Yeah.